Thanks to Baron of Dice, Grey Matter Gaming, and Monument Hobbies for sponsoring this video. Tyranid players are spoiled for choice on ways to play. Crusher Stampede provides a solid way to throw a bunch of big bugs on the table, Vanguard Onslaught gives you tricky stratagems and the framework to make a solid pressure list, and Invasion Fleet is flexible enough to react to whatever your opponents are doing. But what about the humble Tyranid Warrior? These get some play in Vanguard, but are noticeably absent from most Tyranid lists. This is the gap the Warrior Bioform Onslaught detachment is looking to fill. As usual, you can find a written companion to this video on goonhammer.com. Link in the description. Detachment rule. Leader beasts. Tyranid warriors and winged primes get a 5-up invulnerable save, and warriors of both flavors get 3 OC and the battle line keyword. If you couldn't already tell, Tyranid warriors are the focus here, and this rule is as strong as it is simple. The invulnerable save and boost to objective control make warrior bricks a fantastic objective bullying piece that is just annoying enough to remove. They're already beefy in melee, and with all the buffs to Battle Line and Pariah Nexus, they benefit from a load of extra mission rules. Battle Line also means you can take up to 6 units of these critters if you really wanted to commit to the bit. Most of your enhancements are centered around creating specialist units of warriors. You're likely gonna already have a Neuro Tyrant in your list for help with Shadow in the Warp, so attaching one to a Tyranid Warriors unit with Synaptic Tyrant is a fittingly big-brained move. Giving a unit of either flavor of warriors +1 to hit is solid, and getting +1 to wound when your target is battle shocked is a good bonus. You can use this in Ocular Adaptation to get 2 units of warriors each with +1 to hit. Ocular Adaptation is a flat +1 to hit on all attacks for the attached unit, so you can buff both shooting and melee at the same time. Sensory Assimilation similarly affects all attacks, in this case giving the attached unit a -1 to be hit. That affects the entire unit, so stack that with the invulnerable save from your winged Tyranid Prime, and suddenly even your humble gargoyles are a tar pit on par with La Brea. Elevated Might is pricey, but giving your unit advance and charge is always valuable. Stick it on a Broodlord for some frighteningly fast Gene Stealers, or on a Prime for some early pressure warriors. Staying on brand, the stratagems also focus on warriors and their targets. Despite needing some setup and a flowchart to use properly, Synaptic Amplification is a nifty 2-unit bonus, helping you get more out of your high volume of attacks. Spontaneous Hypercorrosion might sound like a municipal waste B-side, but it's actually a stratagem in this detachment. Ironically, it may be better served on non-warrior units. Zoanthropes moving to strength 14 shooting, or Tyrannifex Acid Spray moving to strength 8, overcome some important breakpoints. The +1 strength in melee is also great for warriors, which, with Synapse, become strength 7, allowing them to punch up nicely. Spending 1 command point on Restorative Impulse to get a warrior back isn't a terrible deal, and also might be what it takes to flip an objective before scoring. Synaptic Micronodes lets you sticky an objective. That ability is always useful, especially in a more elite Tyranid army like this one. Parasitic Payload gives one of your warrior units ignores cover and turns off cover for the target unit. Stripping cover is a powerful ability and should open things up for your big guns. Synaptic Shield is a defensive stratagem, and it relies on your warriors and Endless Multitude units supporting each other, giving -1 to wound on incoming attacks, provided they're stronger than your warrior's toughness. It's situational for sure, but could be what saves them from an Exorcist or Land Raider Redeemer volley. This detachment is going to focus on overloading objectives with high OC, surprisingly durable units of warriors, and focusing on playing the mission instead of wiping out the opposing army. The downside of warriors is that they are, for the most part, a damage 1 unit, which means they'll struggle to remove a lot of units in the game. That said, there's a lot of support here to juice them up, and the rest of the Tyranid roster isn't exactly cut off to you. Players using this detachment will probably have a solid warrior core, but will bring common Tyranid staples to most games. Let's hit some pros and cons. It makes warriors more durable and gives them battle line, making them much more versatile in missions using special rules like Stalwarts. The ability to spread bonuses to unit of gargoyles using a winged Tyranid Prime as a leader. There's an enhancement to give any Tyranid unit with a leader the ability to advance and charge. On the flip side, Tyranid warriors are still a bit underwhelming, particularly in melee where they lack damage 2 output. Tyranid warriors also have limited leader options. Lastly, a load of armies are already tooled for killing units of elite 3-wound models like Tyranid warriors. This detachment is interesting, but it probably won't replace other Tyranid staples in competitive play. More importantly, it seems like a different way to play the army that feels distinct from the rest in the Tyranids Codex, and it'll be fun for players sitting on a load of warriors looking for a reason to field them. There's an outside chance it still sees some play, however, as overloading objectives and outlasting the enemy is still a great way to rack up those points. If you'd like to read up on everyone's favorite psychic bugaboos, head on over to goonhammer.com and consider backing us on Patreon to support our work and get some goodies too. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Baron of Dice, Monument Hobbies, and Grey Matter Gaming for sponsoring this video. I've been Carnifex McLeviathan, failing instinctive behavior tests since 1990. Thanks for watching.